all my mind was clouded by the tropical downpour that crashed upon me like punishment for my ill-conceived boldness to venture into the deserted islands. In better times, it was an adventurous idea, but now, as night fell and thick clouds obscured the stars, my adventure turned into a nightmare. The journey along the wooded path was perilous in ordinary times, but now, with rain pouring down and lightning flashing across the sky, I realized my venture was becoming a hellish ordeal. My flashlight beam barely pierced through the dense curtain of rain, and I cursed my foolishness for not staying on the shore, where at least it would have been somewhat brighter. But then I saw it, a dark silhouette distorted in the darkness, as if the very darkness had taken shape. My mind rejected what my eyes saw, but my heart froze in my chest as I realized it was not my imagination. There was something there, in this vast ocean of green leaves and black night. I froze, a chill running down my spine as the dark silhouette began to move. I could only see ghostly outlines, but it was enough to make me desperately run, trembling with fear and exhaustion. But the creature, or whatever it was faster. I could hear its breath, raspy and ominous, as if it were the sigh of death itself. Fear overwhelmed me, and I ran, forgetting everything but the urge to survive. For the next few hours, or perhaps minutes, time lost its meaning in this nightmare. I was chased by this creature in the depths of the dark forest. I felt it getting closer, its touch becoming incredibly real in my nightmares. I was sure it was the end, but then, just when my strength seemed to be failing, when the dark shapes vanished into the darkness, I saw a faint light ahead. It seemed to be the only hope in this madness, and I headed towards it, ready for anything just to survive. The light turned out to be a campfire, a small island of warmth and light in the darkness. I approached it, exhausted and weakened, and only then noticed that the creature had stopped pursuing me. It stood in the shadow of the trees, watching me with gleaming eyes, but it did not come closer. Why? I sat by the fire, feeling my hands shake with fatigue and fear. I had no idea what had happened, but I thanked every force in this world that I was still alive and relatively unharmed. But my relief was short-lived. As I sat trying to regain my senses in this madness, something stirred in the darkness beyond the trees. I turned, straining all my senses, and saw that the darkness was coming to life. Shadows slowly emerged from under the bushes, taking shape, and I froze, watching in amazement. But instead of running, I could not tear my eyes away from the sight. These were unusual figures, dark and undefined, as if woven from the very dark. They approached, like predators stalking their prey, and I could feel fear taking hold of me again. But then I heard something else, something that made me tremble. It was a voice, gentle but sounding from the darkness as if carried by the wind. "Do not be afraid," whispered this voice, and I felt the fear fading away. "We will not harm you." I tried to understand what was happening, who they were and what they wanted, but the answers eluded me like shadows in the night. They only slowly approached, surrounding me with their vague figures. I did not know whether to trust these beings, but at that moment, they were the only light in this darkness, and I clung to them, ready to do anything just to stay alive. And then, as they surrounded me, I felt them doing something mysterious and unseen. And then, suddenly, I felt warm wind dispersing the clouds, light piercing through the leaves. And it all happened so quickly, as if I had woken up from a nightmare into a fairy tale. When I opened my eyes, I was on the same island. But now everything was bathed in moonlight, and the rain had stopped. I realized that the creature that had chased me and these dark figures were something entirely different from what I had expected. They saved me from storms and darkness, from the evil lurking in this forest. And although I never learned their true nature, I thanked them every day for bringing light into my world of darkness and warding off the creatures of the night from my path.